Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Green Energy Transition Seminar, Day 2. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Out in the chat out here, you can see the report we sent out. You can see yesterday's presentation I gave, where I kind of gave a short introduction to this sector, the energy transition, and kind of our viewpoints on why it's happening, why it needs to happen right now. And I think today we really have focused company on what is lying in the energy savings space. And why is that important here? But as I went through yesterday, there's no doubt that we have two things. We now need also to do the energy transition in our heavy industry, where actually 80% still of our energy is not transitioned. The heavy industry, the transport, the agriculture, and the building mass and such. And looking at there, the physics really is enormously hard to transition and create some alternative energy sources. So that's why energy savings should be higher on the agenda there. And secondly, what we also looked at is a lot of studies showing us that if we need to do the energy transition fast, it needs to be energy savings. That has an implementation time of between 1 to 2 years, where a lot of the energy creating new energy and getting new energy simply will take much more longer if we look away from solar. And that's also why speed, very important, and also where it's doable if we want to transit energy savings. And the IRA has a big report out also. We had this seminar in Sønderborg, where they also actually looked at and looking at it, if we can just double our energy savings investments, actually EU can grow the GDP by 2.5% until 2030, and we will not need to use more energy. We will do it with the same energy as we have right now. So with that short introduction, I will hand the word over to you, Morten, and kind of give an insight into to how you has a solution that can make energy saving in some industries. But I will hand you can take the word now, Morten.
That'd be great. Would you show my presentation then?
Yeah,
thank you. Hello, Morten Lindberg from Hydract, and we're going to talk about Hydract a little today, and also talk a little about the political agenda about this green transition, but we'll get there. If we start up with Hydract and what Hydract is, a lot of you heard it before, so we will take it in a short order. In principle, we sell water hydraulic process valves to the beverage industry, and the beverage industry is all floating liquids from, as an example, Novozymes ingredients to Carlsberg beverages. And our purpose is to make the beverage industry more profitable and more sustainable. We deliver two kinds of products in principle. That's our Hydract basic valve, which is a unique valve technology, but sold as small projects or one-to-one changes of the valves in the industry. And then we sell our Hydract solution, Hydract Advanced, which is a lot about just-in-time production, on-demand, and late product differentiation. And the technology solutions here are for the beverage industry, where we come up with our technology, software, and a measure technology, and then we can change a lot of the processes in the business. We have implemented on Carlsberg in Fredericia, and have now, it's been running since the 1st of March 2021 in a full scale. So most of the beer to the Danish population at least has been produced on our valves. If we look a little bit about the selling point, the sustainability is a big point here, but also new process possibilities, which is also our Achilles heel, which I'll get a little back to. We have an unmatched performance, and we are cheaper in both investments and operations. And the reason we are cheaper in both investments and operation is that we save energy, we save water, we save chemicals, we save cleaning, and we save some of the valves because our valves can be both very precise and regulate. So you save one, instead of two valves, you have only one valve. The process possibilities we come up with is a whole is a game changer in the industry. We change how you can brew or how you can use your valves to a more intelligent setup. And when we do that, we have a lot of savings on how you produce, meaning that you have less product waste, you have a better food quality, you have a better control over your processes. But today we are talking about sustainability as the main part of our product. And what is it that we can do on the sustainability agenda? First, our savings on electricity to the valves is above 90%. We have had it running at Carlsberg for more than 2 years, and have seen and evidence now that our operation actually saves 99% of the electricity to the valves. And how can we do that? In principle, air, which is used now for phonetics valves, are a bad form of energy because it uses a lot of warmth. It produces a lot of warmth when you push the air particles together to get this pressure. Using water, as we do, will transfer the energy without the loss in heat, and then you use it and it returns. And our power pack only uses 2.3 kilowatt an hour compared to big phonetics systems that is above. For example, Carlsberg uses 1.5 compressor, which produces 250 kilowatts each per hour. So a comparison between 250 kilowatt and the 2.3 we use is where we save. We don't use it all the time. We only use it when it's needed, and therefore there's also savings there. But our evidence shows that we save 99% of the electricity used for the valves, at least at Carlsberg Fredericia. And then all the new processes comes in with the new opportunities. Waste product is a big thing. You have to clean, and every time you clean, you lose some products. When you use our new setup, the new opportunities, you save both product waste, you clean less, you have a less usage of chemicals, and you have savings on water because you have to clean less. The cleaning is a big part of the cost of water in the systems. As you can see, what Carlsberg came out with, all their savings on water right now comes from reusage of cleaning. And when you use our processes, you will be able to clean less because you have to change less. And every time you change to a new product, you clean. And then less investments means less carbon footprint, meaning that you don't have to produce as many valves, as many pipes, as many structures, as many, especially the big containers are big costs, and therefore less carbon footprint. So this is some of the points of our product and how to use it. The Achilles heel, which I talked a little bit about, is that in order to get all these savings, all these structures, all this good sustainability, you have to change the process. And it's not a process that is outside. It's in the heart of brewing. It's in the heart of using our valves to move milk around, etc. So it's not what you call a technology that can be put on and just taken off if it gives any problems. This is in the core. This is in the heart. So if you change it to this process, there's no going back. And that's difficult, and it gives a risk to the companies out there. And therefore we see a lot of what do you call it, waiting to be sure. We have a lot we need to prove. We have a lot on the technical part that needs to be shown. If it was one of our bigger competitors, nobody would have asked them these questions because they are big and comes with a new product. Everybody would just nod to that. If it's a small company like us, we have to prove a lot more. So that's what we do. And our technical material is at a high quality and accessible. Next, I will discuss a little bit about how we see the green transition, and how the discussion is about this. And I have shown 3 different companies here that are in our sector that I have taken these statements from their own webpage. So no stealing and no other things here. But Carlsberg wants to have a 0 carbon footprint from their factories. They want to halve their water consumption in 2023 or 2030. Arla comes out with their climate ambition that needs to be carbon net zero in 2050. Arla also stated that they have put a lot of money into this, as every carbon footprint will put out more money for the technology. Novozymes has also put that out, and everybody has done that. All the big companies has this, from AB InBev, which is the largest brewer in the world, to these companies which I've taken here from Denmark. And this discussion is actually what we see as one of the big issues on green transition, because, and now I'm being a little political, some of this states that we do not see the money where this climate change should be. So they stated a lot, but we see it difficult getting down to the to us in principle, down to saving of energy. And the sustainability barriers into the green transition, sorry about the arrow, it's been moved a little, I can see, but the move between barriers and green transition is some of the things we see as a problem here. And if you look at our technology, we are there to save energy. So our Hydract technology is in the middle of the process, as I mentioned before. It's not something you can put on the side. It's not changing from gas to another energy source. This is changing the how you brew, or how you make your soda, or whatever. And therefore, it's difficult. It's a barrier to get there. And as I said, we are a small company. We are selling on a global market. It's easy to say that there's a risk in going our way. There's a risk in taking this sustainable product, because it's easier to take it from the big companies. Well, we haven't changed anything, no, but then we don't take any risk either. We talk about all this money that the companies are saying they have for green transition. We are seeing it very difficult to get from the top management down to the ones that have to decide on green transition. It's difficult for them to use money because they are followed up on the cost and their KPIs. They are not followed up on the green transition when you look at, for example, a brewery and the people on the floor in the brewery. So their decisions are made out of risk, and how to mitigate that risk, and not the green transition. For us, what do we do in order to cope with these sustainability barriers? First, we have to prove the technology. We have to show that we reduce CO2 emissions, and we have to put that on writing and show them that it works. That's one of the key points. And then we have to put pressure. And I'm being a little funny here, but to put water pressure on the companies for their sustainable solutions, meaning we have to keep on asking, where do you choose your sustainability? We are not changing anything. We're minimizing the usage of electricity. How can you not do this? And that pressure we need to keep on. And then we also need to do some lobbyism. We have to make this discussion. Today is an example of it. We need to put political pressure on our companies to choose sustainable solutions out of the good of their own company, but also the good of mankind, the good of all of us getting the sustainability forward. Biden's new federal sustainability plan is one way of doing it. The discussions in Denmark are another, but we need the companies to make these decisions. We need Arla, Carlsberg, whoever, at least in our business, to make the decisions of saving energy and doing it on a sustainability point of view instead of a risk mitigation point of view. And that is one of our issues. And we need to push for less talk and more action. As one of the big companies in Denmark has said, no more talking about saving this energy. We need to have a lot more action on it. But Michael, how do you see it from the investor point of view regarding this transition point? Let's see if we can get him on. Nope, I'm all alone. Okay.
Sorry.
There you are, Michael.
Can you hear me?
Hear you.
Perfect. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
Perfect. Yeah, but I see it kind of as the same. You are talking about that we need some kind of regulation, some framework. I guess you maybe need some technological sources where companies can take bigger risk. But I also have a question for you, because you are also delivering into a one-to-one valve, where it might not need to change that much the processes. Do you see more chances there, or are companies, if they want to change to you, they really want to have the benefits also from the less water consumption and everything that comes with changing their process?
Actually, we are seeing, especially some of the other businesses than the breweries, that they look at our valves from a sustainability point of view. That, for example, in the dairy industries, they don't have this mixing as a big point. They have other issues, but there they have a lot of this sustainability view on us. So the discussion comes from sustainability, and that is one-to-one change of valve. So yes, we see that, and we think it's going to be a big part of our business going forward, these one-to-one changes. But we also have that when we do something like this, when we change valves one-to-one, we would like the companies to understand what they can get more out of the product than just here the sustainability. So there's a lot of teaching our customers to understand what can you do with this, because it's a new technology. They haven't fought in these areas, and eliminating valves out there is a big sustainability thing too. So if they change a little of their process, maybe we can save 10%, 20% of the valves, and thereby also saving a lot in the cost structure.
And I guess is that a push you are going a little bit more to, because I guess you have your proof of concept by Carlsberg. It's in the brewing industry, which have changed their process. So is that a problem when you need to switch to maybe a one-to-one valve discussion with clients, that you might say your big proof of concept, your big one is a total redo of the process?
Yeah, I think we need to say that we are going through all the problems that are there. So yes, if we show them our big project, they say, yeah, but we don't want this big thing. We just need to change one-to-one valves. Oh. So that's also part of the barriers. So we see that, and we have that discussion, but they also see it working, and that is the biggest barrier. That this technology can actually work. And see that it works, and then we can come up with all the solutions and the technical data on the sustainability.
And there's actually also a question out here that you have touched a little bit upon it regarding the service afterwards. How long is the lifetimes on these valves? Are they longer than what is existing on market? And how about service afterwards? I guess as a company, buying by you, you also need to convince them that they can get it serviced the next many years.
Yeah, first, the service is not a normal thing on valves. It's actually valves are considered to be something that doesn't need to be serviced. You just need to change some seals, and that's it. We are changing that too, because our valves has a lot of software intelligence in them. So the service contracts are part of what we do. We also have the monitoring of that, where we actually bring a lot of value to the companies, and they are part of a service contract too. The lifetime of the valves is, as far as we know, at least the same as the valves that are out there. That is what we have seen. We have tested them for a long time, etc. So we see the same lifetime. We are not going to say that we have a longer lifetime. We don't think so, but we have at least the same lifetime as the others on the market, and that's 10 years or above that. And the service contract comes as a natural thing, because we can now monitor it. We can say, when do you need to change the seal? You don't have to have a breakdown before you change it. We can pre-maintenance them, etc., etc. And that's a big part of our service contract. So yeah, that's part of our business going forward.
And then there's a question about actually competition. Are you seeing anybody else? I guess you can kind of follow the patent situation to get early warnings about the competition, whether they are going in your direction, and maybe turning it a little bit around. You are a small company pushing a new technology, which might give hesitance. Could it actually help if some of the bigger players in the industry also looked in this direction?
It will, of course, help that more people are putting our technology forward as a sustainable solution. Therefore, we have been all the time we've said we are more than happy to have partners. We are more than happy to have the competitors take our technology as their sustainable solutions. We don't see it simply because this is their cash cow. It will destroy their own business if they use our valves. At least they have to change a lot in order to get there. So the talks we've had earlier, as we've said a few times, has not borne any fruit. But of course, from a sustainability point of view, it would be great to have somebody else who could put out this on the market. And we are happy to have partners. We are, of course, also talking to our competitors on exactly that point. If you see on the point of whether or not they are trying to make something alike us and the patent, I think the patent is extremely strong, because the patent is around the carrying of this water hydraulics, the control of it, and it's very, very difficult to get around that. They will have to try to push the patent, and I think most of the companies we're up against, they don't dare that. We are cheaper to buy. That's just the point. It's cheaper to buy the patent technology than try to risk big lawsuits, etc. on it. But we haven't seen anything yet. And the only thing that's been in the market for a lot of years is trying to make electrical valves on the scale we are doing. And they can't do that because of the electricity is bearing too big a battery or too high a voltage out to the valve, so you can't do it on electricity. We haven't seen any other technology push from anybody so far.
And then to kind of round it up, the question here, the number one reason that no one so far has placed a complete factory order besides Carlsberg, if you can kind of give that as what you're saying. I know, of course, there's a lot of differences.
I think the risk mitigation is the biggest issue here. The risk mitigation on two things. First, we are a small company, and they are afraid that we can't deliver both the service afterwards and the installation. And then the risk of changing their process to something that is as new as this. I think that is the biggest thing that hasn't that our technology hasn't really hit through yet. But with the discussions we have with the pipeline, we are saying we can see that they are aware of that, but are still pushing forward on products all over the line. So I think it's the bubble. It needs to be burst by someone again. It's not just enough that Carlsberg Fredericia has done it. Carlsberg needs to capitalize on it now, and of course we are discussing a lot with them around that, and also some of the other companies. And if we can get the bubble to burst in other industries, we will open a lot more and also make less risk for ourselves in these long talks with our big customers.
And kind of mitigating that, because I understand your business model. You can actually go out and show the customers by a small project, right? Is that also something now after the COVID-19 that it's actually able?
Yeah.
So are you able to go out and show them in a small part? Not that it's economically or save all the energy, but you can actually show it in a small part of the factory. Is that one of the ways to mitigate this?
Yeah, it is. We have two ways of doing it so far. Small test projects, pilot projects, as Peter mentioned the other day. We start actually with a test, and a test could be one valve they see working. It could be our test tool, which is a big container in principle, not big, a small container that can show what we can do. And we can send that around the world. And then secondly, we have these pilot projects. So if you see our business model, you will see first the initial communication, then a small test that could also be seeing it work at Carlsberg Fredericia, then a small pilot project, and then you start with the concept of a big project that can show it full scale, and the next that comes are a group thing where you see how can it be used in the group, how can you transfer it. So you go from communication to test to pilot to real project, and then you talk about group structure.
Perfect. Thank you, Morten. We unfortunately have no more time, so thank you Morten, for taking us and opening the political agenda also. I know it's not easy. So thank you, Morten, and have a nice day.
Yeah, you too, and thank you for having me.